Hi everyone, we just got back from seeing Slender Man at the movies.
And we'll have your non-spoiler review right after this. Hi folks, welcome back to Pop Pop Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we are here with your non-spoiler review of Slender Man. Now, if you have watched our channel, you know that we reacted to the trailer for Slender Man. And we were a little unsure about how we felt about it going in, mainly because we know that it's got some real world connections that are a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
People have been hurt because of this particular creepypasta.
Yeah.
And that's the term.
I know, it's just this weird term. I don't even understand how it came about. So
it is a weird term.
So maybe we'll put a link to some sort of like online thing.
You can wiki it,
Yeah, or where you can find out where creepypasta came from, because that's just
right.
weird.
Anyway, I did see Red Letter Media posted that they did not create Slender Man, that he is not there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have assumed such.
I wouldn't have assumed such either. That's okay.
But yeah, so we went to see it anyway, in spite of whatever reservations we may or may not have had, mainly because we want content for you, but also because we do like, occasionally, this scary movie, and so we thought we would check it out and see what we had to think. Joey King, who's in this film, someone that we've seen before in Flash and in some other movies, and really she was the only familiar face to me.
Yeah, nobody else in this was familiar.
Out of that bunch. So forgive me if, I'm sure they're working actors. I'm sure they've been in other things.
Yeah,
she was just the only one.
This is probably one of their bigger markets.
Well, I take that back. Annalise, I can't remember her last name, the redhead that disappeared early on, which we know from trailers, so that's not a spoiler. What was her name?
Katie.
Who played Katie. I've seen her in things as well. So she was familiar.
She looked familiar to me also. Generally, when we go see movies, we're, either going to see something that's got a lot of popular appeal. It's a lot of people really excited about seeing it, such as the Marvel movies. Or other times we're going at off times where we've got the whole theater to ourselves and maybe there are like 2 or 3 other people. So this was kind of in between. So let's just going over the theater experience. This was actually a moderately full theater that started out talking during the reviews.
Well, it wasn't the theater.
The trailers. Yeah.
It wasn't the theater that was talking.
It wasn't the theater. It was people in it.
Yeah, and they were very loud.
They were very loud.
Very rude.
And I was really expecting to have a lot of commentary coming through in the movie. So I was like, bracing myself to just kind of try to ignore it so that I could at least focus on the movie. And surprisingly, people did get quiet and watch the movie. So that was actually really nice.
Yeah, it's tough. When we see a movie here at the house, we're watching a movie with the kids, we expect there's going to be a certain amount of talking and whatever, and we just deal, right? But when you go to a theater and you pay $10, $50, $11, $12
for a
depending
ticket.
depending on what theater you're in, to see a movie on the big screen, and then whatever else you spend on snacks and who knows what, it can be an expensive night. So to go in and have people sort of disrupting everything with their nonsense can be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, we were young once, so we understand that sometimes you're not overly thoughtful about the people around you. But thankfully, they got quiet fairly early on.
They did, so that we were able to actually focus on the movie, and so we focused on the movie.
Yeah. Now, again, this is a non-spoiler review, so you don't have to worry about any spoilers if you're planning on seeing the movie. And we are not critics. I say that over and over again just because it's important that you know. Heidi and I don't have any background in film. We're not looking to be overly critical of anything. Really, what we're going into any theater looking for is just a good time. And then we, will come to you and tell you what we thought about the film, whether or not we had a good time, whether or not we think that you should see it.
Right.
That sort of thing. So we're not going to be critically breaking this thing apart.
Yeah.
We're just going to give you our thoughts. That's it.
Yeah. So first off, I know a lot of people worked really hard on this, and I liked some of the angles that things were shot at. I liked that,
some of the cinematography.
Some of the cinematography was good. They played with your thoughts as far as, the Slender Man being around or, in the focus, but not necessarily, or shadows that you could interpret as him being around. And so I like that they kind of kept you guessing a lot of the way through it for that sort of thing. So they did well with that, and I felt like not too many jump scares. So everybody's worried about that.
How did you feel about the acting?
It was all right. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't. It wasn't like, groundbreaking, but it wasn't like laughably bad. It was, everyone was invested in their characters and doing, being who they were supposed to be in the movie.
I definitely don't want to use a pretentious term like aficionado because I don't feel like I am one, but I do enjoy horror movies, and I enjoy them on a scope. You know what I mean? There's a scale for me of the really bad cheesy horror movies that are still fun because they're schlocky and they have sort of a
and they know they are.
Yeah, and they know they are, and they don't take themselves too seriously, and so there's sort of a fun aspect of them that if they were higher budget might not be there, and so maybe part of the fun is that they're not taking themselves seriously.
Right.
But I also enjoy a good high budget. Really well made horror film. Those don't come along super often these days. I didn't have high hopes for Slender Man going in, mainly because of, like I said, the real world sort of implications, but also because it looked like they were taking something that had a real world effect and making it seem supernatural, which to me sort of, at least from the trailers, it made it seem like that way. And so I went in kind of feeling like, if they make it that, then what does that say about the kids that actually did terrible things because they were following this creepypasta thing? So I was really kind of ambivalent about the whole thing and kind of just uncertain about it.
Yeah, I didn't go into it expecting.
But I didn't go in expecting to hate it by any far stretch of the imagination. No. And so early on, I liked a lot of the setup. I liked a lot of the just sort of slowly drawing us into getting to know the characters and their personalities. There weren't deep characters by any far stretch of the imagination, but they were different enough that it wasn't hard to tell them apart or to keep up with who was who.
But nobody was like stereotypically this.
Right.
It was just,
so
these were the characters we got to get to know.
Yeah. And then, but then as we got into, the main elements of the plot, there were things I liked and things I didn't. It was a little bit hit and miss for me on that. And then I felt like as it progressed, as we got toward the climax of the film, that there were elements of it that really fell apart for me.
Yeah.
And I felt like the ending itself, without talking about any specifics, the ending itself felt a bit rushed and a bit like they weren't sure how to end it.
Yeah.
So that they just went, okay, and then this happens. And it's like, well, that didn't feel like an ending to me.
No, I mean, I felt like they spent enough time, getting us invested in the setup and the characters that there should have been a little something more there, a little, like, just kind of, like, a more satisfactory ending. And I felt like that was just kind of not necessarily, like Jeff said, it was really kind of rushed, and then they were just kind of like, here you go, it's done. Yeah. So,
unfortunately, that is a sign of a screenplay that just didn't coalesce. It just didn't come together. They had a creepy idea. They had a vague notion, and they thought, okay, well, with this creepy idea and this vague notion, we can make some scary scenes. So here's an idea that we can do for a scary scene, and here's an idea that we can do, and some of those scenes worked fine.
Yeah, I really liked what they did with some of the effects.
I wouldn't say that any of it was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this
Nothing
before.
groundbreaking.
But it was fine for what it was. If all I'm doing is going in and expecting a fun, horror pick that I can just eat some popcorn and chill for 2 hours or an hour and a half or however long it was, that was enough.
Yeah.
It would be. However, it felt like, they had these ideas, this scene, how do we end it? Well, that doesn't really matter because we got all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so we'll just end it in a way that, and the thing is, they didn't even end it in a way that invited a sequel or invited.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. Sometimes movies stumble in that mode of let's set up the next one, and so they don't end the first one properly.
Yeah.
This wasn't even that.
It was just that way now.
It was just like they didn't know how to land that plane.
No.
And so instead, it kind of ended up as burning wreckage on the runway.
Oh, I thought it landed in the bay.
Yeah, not a great analogy, but yeah, that's what it felt like. So yeah, it ended with not a bang, but kind of a whimper, and it just didn't feel like it really coalesced into the kind of movie that I was hoping that I would see.
Yeah.
Now, the way that we normally rate films on our channel is if the film fizzles, that means that it's really not probably worth your time. It just is sort of there. Nothing that we would recommend, whether in streaming or any other situation. If it's a pop, that means, if you feel like this kind of movie is your thing, then maybe check it out when it hits Netflix or any other sort of streaming thing. Not a sponsor, but check it out then, and don't spend the big money that you spend going to the theater. And then if it's a double pop, that means that, yeah, go ahead, rush out, grab your ticket, grab a big corn, grab a big drink, and enjoy the heck out of that for the hour and a half to 2 hours that you're there, because we think you'll have a blast. Those are the way that we rate the things. It's a little overly complicated, but our name's Pop Pop Fizzle, and we got to use it somehow. So, given those qualifiers, Heidi, how would you rate Slender Man?
He always tosses it to me first, and I'll have to say, while we've gotten better at not really, rehashing or hashing things out in the car on the way back from the theaters, I did say to him, I believe I'm going to be giving this an unprecedented rating for me for this channel.
I know what that means, yeah.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
It means half a pop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I thought.
You thought I was going to give it a fizzle?
Yeah.
No, half a pop, because it was what it was. It was entertaining for the time that we were there. Definitely, the people who worked on the effects did a great job, with the effects that they had. But I wouldn't feel like it needs to be seen on a big screen, or even at all if you're just not that interested. So, I mean, if you want to see like this horror movie, if you're curious about it, definitely see it. But I wouldn't necessarily run out, or even, if you have anything better to watch on Netflix, just go ahead and watch that.
All right.
Okay.
So for me, I'm going to land the plane similar to how they landed the plane, which is poorly. I think for me, this is going to be a fizzle, and I'm going to tell you why. Not because I didn't enjoy parts of this film, and not because I thought any of the actors were bad or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Even some of the effects I thought were decent, some less so, but I thought most of them were okay. Mainly for me, it's going to be a fizzle because there was nothing here that I felt like I haven't seen before in better productions, and there was really no satisfying conclusion to this that made me feel like I had a solid film experience. And when you take those things and then you add in that sort of real life side of everything, where they really sort of took something that has had a damaging sort of impact on some families and some towns or whatever, and then they made it into this thing that's just sort of entertainment. Yeah. I just kind of have a problem landing on a pop for this. So for me, it's a fizzle, but mileage may vary. So the real question for us is this a movie that you're excited to see? Will you be seeing it? Have you seen it already? We're not going to do a spoiler discussion about this film at all. It's just the non-spoiler review. So, but if you have seen the film and you want to talk about it, make sure you use the spoiler tag so that you don't ruin the experience for anybody else. But we'd be happy to talk to you about the film down below. Just tag it accordingly. Anyway, if you like this video,
hit that thumbs
and
up.
consider subscribing to the channel. We're growing little teeny bits at a time.
Yeah,
we love it.
We love you guys. Keep coming.
That's right. We got some fun videos coming up, including a new unboxing video and then an old unboxing video that I still haven't edited together yet. That one's coming too. We've got some other things, including a retro review that we haven't quite figured out a name for just yet, but that's going to be fun as well. So we love having you guys around, and every one of you that jumps on board, we just are thrilled about that. We check those numbers daily, and every time we see one more person has subscribed, it just makes our day.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of these videos. And that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
May the Slender Man never darken your door, and may you have a great time at the movies, whether you go see Slender Man or not, right?
Right.
Until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.